Today, most of us woke up from our unresponsive and dormant states of being to the news that Sony has purchased Housemarque and maybe Bluepoint. Of course, there will be a part to this that will interest the RPG fans out there, probably the Bluepoint stuff, maybe not. So stay tuned. Either way, we'll be back to talking about RPGs soon, but this felt somewhat relevant to discuss, so here we are. The announcement came from PlayStation themselves, letting us know that Housemarque had been acquired, probably most known for their arcade-style games. The developer's best-known works, at least from what I can tell, are Super Stardust, Dead Nation, Resogun, and of course, the recent Returnal. Admittedly, I've only played Resogun out of their catalog, and it was an excellent game, pretty difficult in some ways, but overall a fun arcade title. I just purchased Returnal last week and installed it before in anticipation of playing it pretty soon, hence why all of the gameplay you're seeing is from official sites because, well, I haven't played it yet, so yeah. Then there's this news, and to be honest, it makes a ton of sense for Housemarque. As others have likely pointed out, and I will as well, it's good when there are companies who have a healthy working relationship come together and decide to make that collaboration permanent. I would not go as far to say that I'm a Housemarque fan. I don't have that kind of credibility, having only played one of their games to date. But all you really need to look at is Housemarque's back catalog of titles and see how many of them have only come to PlayStation consoles. It would stand to reason that it is a great idea to bring them on board permanently for PlayStation. It is similar to how, despite the history of Bethesda games on PlayStation consoles, there is no dispute that a bunch of Bethesda's titles have fared better on Xbox. Recall when Skyrim came to PS3, they were not sure that they could even get all of the DLC on disc, and it always seemed that they worked together the best despite that. So yeah, it always sucks when companies in the industry purchase one another and lock off access to their games to certain platforms, but it does make sense, and it's better to have partners that work together well than to have ones that don't, but they are forcing themselves to work together anyway. Furthermore, I do genuinely love PlayStation's exclusives, and while I have my own preferences over which ones I like more than others, I see Returnal as a very different type of game for Sony to put their weight behind, as of late, of course. I hope what this partnership does is let Housemarque continue to do their own thing while also expanding the type of exclusive offerings Sony has beyond the third-person open world. Then we have PlayStation Japan, perhaps leaking and revealing that Sony is also purchasing and acquiring Bluepoint Games at some point if they're not already in the process. Whoops. Sorry, boys. Wrong JPEG. Bluepoint, of course, is behind the incredible Demon's Souls remake, Shadow of the Colossus remastered, both times, Uncharted games remasters, and a slew of others. Bluepoint, again, is another company I think has had a long working history with Sony, and I see it as an absolute win for both companies to have this happen. I was incredibly impressed and blown away by the quality of the Demon's Souls remake, and before that with Shadow of the Colossus. I will say for RPG fans and fans of the FromSoft pedigree, you should definitely check out Demon's Souls remake if you have the chance and are able to, assuming you can find a PS5 and afford the game itself. I don't know if Bluepoint themselves has ambitions to make their own exclusive IP or exclusive title for PlayStation this gen beyond Demon's Souls remake, or if they plan to bring back other PlayStation classics to PS5 and beyond for the near future, but either way, when this is announced officially, it will be a good fit and likely produce some good results. And finally, I've also seen some discourse online, which is not a good way to start any sentence, but I've seen some discourse online that suggests that there is a tit-for-tat game going on between Sony and Microsoft, and while I think for sure there is stuff going on behind the scenes that we are not privy to or aware of, and they're definitely competing, I mean, they're both software companies, so yeah, I think it's fair to go as far to say that they are in fact in direct competition with each other, but to suggest that there's this tit-for-tat mano-y-mano game going on is a bit of a stretch in my opinion. The implication of it is basically every time Xbox does something, Sony has to react with a similar announcement, or they're going to, and vice versa. Sure, that likely happens sometimes, I'm not denying that, but I don't think in this instance this is what these acquisitions are about. Of course, I could always be proven wrong, and I am excited to see what this partnership brings to the table. And of course, if you want to see more RPG coverage, news, gameplay, reviews, discussion type content, and more, subscribe. Until then, hope you enjoyed this mini news type video or reaction video. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you all soon.